Alrighty, it appears that we are live. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. If you're staying safe and happy, and warm if you're living in an area like me, where winter exists for half the year, and where fall and spring are just the weeks between summer and winter. It's actually not been too bad in regards to snowfall lately, so it's been nice. So let me get the links out on the mines, and then I'll get out to the Discord servers, then we can begin. Let me pull up the link. Here we go. Nope. Let me restart my YouTube app. Sorry, something wasn't working. And copy link. Okay, now it's working. Good. Very, very good. Okay. First for mines. Hey guys, I'm live. And paste it there. Alrighty. Link is up on mines. Now let me get it to the Discord servers, then we can begin. Let's see here. Creative Corner? Alrighty. Do. Oh. Alrighty. And this is the last one. Awesome. Okay, now that we're all set, let me pull up the chat. There we are. And now, let me get my controller back on. Excellent. Now let us continue. So yeah, the last time that we were streaming, we had quite the twists and turns and quite the revelation. So, the white-haired girl, as remembered by our character, whom I'm feeling pretty confident is Michael, but we'll see. The white-haired girl actually turned out to be Giselle. Now, I'm wondering if that's Michael kind of projecting his own image onto the girl, and that's how the white-haired girl came to be, because you can all see he's got the red eyes and the white hair. But something that actually I thought of when I was going about everything is that I am starting to wonder if the white-haired girl might be a separate character still, and that is just the lie, or maybe the belief that Giselle had fabricated for herself. So I'm feeling like I should be a little hesitant to commit to any theories wholeheartedly just yet, because with that last, as the painting said, this whole memory is a fabrication. So if that is the case, then maybe even the things that Giselle believed are fabricated as well. or not necessarily believes, because she saw herself as Morgana the witch or the maid. She didn't want to address herself as Giselle. But I'm just, now that I sat back and thought about it, it's like, maybe the white-haired girl is still a different character. But for now, I'm going to lean on she's probably just a misremembered representation of Giselle, who's also caught in this reincarnation loop. Because for, something else to think about is perhaps because Morgana, we have a name for the witch, Morgana. So if that's the case, Morgana could be a character in and of herself, and maybe that is the white-haired girl for all we know. But like I said, I'm going to be hesitant to commit to any ideas, just because if the whole last story is a figment of fiction, then who knows what's actually going to be true. So, with all that said, let's continue. Pardon me, but I'm very nice and cozy. I'm sipping on some tea that I grew myself. This is one of my hobbies, and just have a nice thing of hot mint tea on standby. Ooh. It's probably, I think it's a combination of peppermint and spearmint. But whatever combo it is that I've made, it's good. And that's all that matters. I also have some water nearby. So. Alrighty. So. And where we left off, it was 1099. And this was the same year that took place over the fabricated story, or the fourth door that we just went through. So, let's see what awaits us here. Actually, let me turn up my TV one click. Or a few clicks, I'm sorry. Okay. It had been several days since I left the capital, and I could still see it when I closed my eyes. The people lined up on the Grand Point, awaiting entry, eager to start a new life there, brimming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you were a performer, you could get some of those costs shaved down a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in, and apathetic about all who left. It was composed of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of poor. And it was the city I had called home for a long time. I didn't know about where I was heading. It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, all right then. The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though he had gotten stuck transporting a prisoner. Though that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Even the times he would acknowledge I had said anything, he made no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes, to pretend he didn't regret ever taking this job. And I would fall silent again. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind, and were now traveling along a couple worn-down grooves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this? I was done thinking about it. The more I thought of it, the less fair it seemed. The more I remembered, the worse it hurt. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us like the world fading into view after a dream. It didn't seem to be an especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care, and it was, thankfully, not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest? The carriage came to a stop, and the coachman climbed down, signaling with his chin for me to get out. Here. TV's getting kind of loud, sorry. Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I'm looking for, yes? But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back onto the carriage and setting off into the forest. He seemed to be wanting to get away from... He seemed to want to get as far away from here as quickly as possible. He could have said something. Oh well. That's about all I could say anyway. Oh well. I couldn't blame anyone for my being here. Or for his wanting to get out. I should get it going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house's windows were, strangely enough, all shuttered. It was probably dark as pitch inside. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? I had no idea what else there was in the area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. The door was heavy, and though it seemed to protest my attempts to enter, it still opened much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I got the strangest impression that light was being swallowed up in the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it felt as though I was about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I closed the door, it was so dark I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window is open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to a window, it was tightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Darn, not a hint of light. I couldn't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It felt as though the floor would fall out from under me, and I would sink into an eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There was a door at the end of the long corridor. I pulled it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was too dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in the area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness gripped me. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it wasn't shuttered. What do we have here? Drapes? I see a little light beyond... My chances were slim, I imagined, but if there was even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it was worth a shot. So I pulled open the drapes. The next moment, faint but colorful light shone down on me. It was a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. It had finally started, it seemed. The different colors of light blended into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel? How would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... Please do not touch the drapes. Huh? Or the windows. Suddenly, I heard a voice, and I could sense someone else in the room. The man's voice was emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he came into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. And then here we got Michael again. Hello, Dragon. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. The man stood there, practically blending in with the darkness. Had he been here the whole time? He was staring straight at me. His gaze wavered slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. Then again, I could hardly make out any detail at all under the light of the single candle. Is this, your mansion? It is. Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted. I suspect you would have preferred it if the house were abandoned. Oh, not at all. I wouldn't be scared to death to say anything in this dark mansion by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I do think it could use some light. That way, you could see where you were walking. And I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessary. I make do perfectly well as things are. How can you see when it's so dark? I have an abundance of candles and oils for lamps. I'm not in the want means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. If you need light, you are free to leave. If you're in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town. I am no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please, don't chase me out. I see. And you ask this of me aware of how people refer to this mansion? They say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. A cursed witch. If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction. You're worried for my well-being? Witch or not, my mind is made up. I was sent to this cursed witch's mansion to atone for my transgressions back in the city. It didn't matter what lived here. I had no choice. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, very much so. It is not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch? The witch's name was Morgana. Is me. Sorry, just getting a sip of tea. Yes. That was our first encounter. It was nothing flowery or dramatic. It was, rather, laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another, and I had no interest in changing that. But nonetheless, that was where it all began, where my history with her commenced. Ah, so here we got Giselle, or the maid. Good God, I just love all the art in this game is just fantastic, and I especially love the painterly look. It's not just the typical flat colors or bright flat colors for the typical manga anime style. I do like that so much detail was put into them, especially the shading. Like, look at her arms and her hand. Good God. And then, of course, stained glass window in the background is great as well. The woman had jade eyes. Open wide, they glimmered like jewels in the light shining through the stained glass window. She seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying, per se. The rumor said a witch lived in this house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus, said rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter. Wow! Here I was thinking you were kind of scary, and it turns out you're actually quite funny. What? I never would have guessed you were someone to tell such a ridiculous joke with a straight face. I wasn't. You don't look at all like a witch. I mean, it's dark and I can't really see. But you seem to me like a rather handsome man. The word witch. The word witch has broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. Any unholy person with cursed powers, man or woman, can be considered a witch. I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more a woman. So you're not a witch? To tell you the truth, I didn't know who might be here, which had me rather scared. But I think I could make this work. What do you... It's a pleasure to meet you, Master. Master? I was sent here from your old home. I was an Abigail for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof. I froze the moment the word left her mouth. Home. It rattled around in my skull, shaking up terrible memories and almost brought me to my knees. Why? After all these years, were they reaching out to me now? Even sending someone to bring me back? Just sending someone. To what end? For what purpose had they shipped an Abigail onto this remote mansion? What was my mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do you mean you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show in my face. It was a teeny tiny mistake. Nothing you need to concern yourself with. What did Mother say about me? Well, It was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke to your mother much. Father sent you? That made even less sense. Why would he have... Did Father even know I was here? No. If he had known, I would have been... Who was this woman? What was her goal in asking to stay here? Well, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food. I can't imagine you eat much, being as skinny as you are. I turned my back on her without responding. No matter what her goal was, she had been sent from that house. There was no way anything good could come of that, and there was no way I could live with someone who has ties to them. I prayed she would take the hint, give up, and leave. Master! And so I kept ignoring her. Master! Master! I ignored... Master! I ignored her. Master, what would you like for supper? Nothing! But failed, spinning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide, and then she gave a sheepish giggle. I glared at her as she fidgeted uncomfortably. Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you really should eat. I said I didn't want. Your body's always honest. What was that sound? Must you ask? That's not a very polite thing to ask a lady, you know. Huh? Pardon me, I'm sorry. You know, it was a long trip, and all I had to eat on the road was dried fruit. I felt like I was some kind of animal. Ugh. So, what I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry. That wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, was it? I thought lightning had struck in the distance. And would like some supper. The kitchen's at the far end of the hall on the first floor. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it. Thank you so much. I honestly feel like I haven't eaten in days and I'm about to die of starvation. Oh, and I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyway. It's rather exciting being in a new place. Ugh. Damn it. This did not go as planned. Oh well. She can do as she pleases. I'll have nothing to do with it. Oh, Master! Are you sure you don't... No. Master? Master! What is it? No. My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. And you're Oh, Master, you... I actually left the room that time, making my way back to my chambers. At some point, I would seriously have to chase her out. Especially considering she had come from that house. But regardless, I was not terribly fond of her. It's interesting because, like, Giselle is a very, very different character to the white-haired girl. Whereas the white-haired girl was always reserved and quiet and very gentle. Giselle, she's very polite, but she's also seemingly energetic. She's really, really, she's got an enthusiasm about her. And even Michael's a tad bit different. He seems to be just more annoyed than indifferent to things. So, I'm actually kind of learning about these characters now that we're seeing, I guess, more honest sides of them. And she's also far, she's far different so far in this version of herself as compared to when she was the maiden guiding our character throughout the doors so far. Okay, anyways. I didn't really understand Michael, but that was probably because we were still essentially strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find there, but I was tentatively convinced that he wasn't a terrible person. He didn't do anything to me, except stay away. Michael spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances, so we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths. I figured if I kept that up long enough, he would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hoped we would be able to do some talking about the mansion, about him, about me. I just had to keep working at it. Michael didn't need me to take care of him. Yeah. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself. And in fact, he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for a servant. I hadn't met anyone like him before. All right then. That meant about all I could do was clean. I wasn't sure how this room looked, but the rest of the house was, quite frankly, an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy it was obvious it hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. It couldn't be healthy to live in these conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. That said, it wasn't going to be an easy task. Oh, and something else popped in my head. The other reason why I am skeptical that the maid or Giselle is might be a separate character to the white-haired girl is we had plenty of times in the story where they both directly interacted with one another. So something else, and like I said, I'm not going to commit myself to any theories, but something else that has me thinking is maybe the deal, we might not know what led to the deal, but maybe the deal that Morgana made with Giselle, which keeps bringing, keeps Giselle around and coming back, maybe Morgana the witch is also keeping her at arm's length at all times. And that explains why they're always bumping into each other. But anyways, that said, it wasn't going to be an easy task. Not because I was bad at cleaning. In fact, I considered myself quite good at it. But because it was near impossible to find all the dust and grime that needed cleaning under the flickering light of a candle. I can't understand just how anyone sane can live in this dark. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's actually a vampire. Oh God. Wouldn't that be something? I can see it now. Him sneaking out into the night to suck the blood of pretty girls. Priceless. That means I'm in trouble. Look at me. Miss One-Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. If I am able to get him to warm up to me, though, maybe it'll give me a little more room to make some changes. Like opening some windows. No light, no fresh air? No, thank you. Anyway, I set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on, and started wiping down the shelf. The chair's legs seemed to be uneven, and it wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wonder, do they all belong to him? I knew parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing seeing this many stacks of it in one place. There was even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family. I've spent enough time at his family's home. It was a constant bustle of servants and guests. The exact opposite of what this mansion was like. Why had he left his home? What had he done to be sent all the way out here to this remote mansion with less than savory reputation? Need to be careful not to overstep my bounds. I am a servant now. A servant. But once that thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I'd always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosities as soon as they struck, pushing to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoyed others. I couldn't do that here, though. I was simply a servant, and if I got on Michael's bad side, I risked getting thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he's got in here. So I attempted to distract myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. What? But the strings binding the parchment must have gotten tangled at the back. Whoa, 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 whoa! Because the books on either side tilted back with it. Ah! And then the entire row came crashing down on top of me. Ow! Oh, for sake. I had fallen off the chair, and a downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it. Seriously? What are you doing? What? Suddenly, Michael was there, looking down on me from a little ways away. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I heard a vague trace of exasperation in his voice. I was doing some cleaning and... Impressive work. I'm usually better than this. It's just so dark. Mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open some windows, Master. Get some light, some air flowing through here. I never asked you to clean anything. You did this entirely yourself. But there's so much dust. It can't be good for you. I am perfectly healthy. I don't see the problem. Had he even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy. You look like you have something to say. He can make out my face in this darkness? Oh, you know. I wanted to be useful, and cleaning is about all I can do here, so, you know. I was sensing something else, but alright. He let out a sigh, stepped over toward the pile of books, and then reached his hand down for me. Ah. Okay, so, yeah, the whole touch thing was a lie. I suddenly felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact I was still spread out on the floor. but I raised my hand up to take his, only for him to pick up a book instead. You could at least help me up. You have legs. He said, casually returning the book to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was a terrible person. So, Master, are all these books yours? Giselle asked, not a trace of remorse visible on her face despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. I gave a curt nod. Really? That's impressive. Must have been hard work getting all them in here, huh? There's gotta be 100 books here. You could fill a whole carriage at least. It's like you got your own personal library. She had been pouting only a few moments earlier. She had been pouting only a few moments earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jade eyes were like little balls of curiosity, glittering in the faint candlelight. I was not particularly fond of overly expressive, rather overly curious women. Did they not care that they trampled uninvited into other people's personal spaces? Or were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? I averted my gaze from hers. I receive one roughly every month. Ah, I see. Wait. She turned back toward the shelves. I presume she understood the implications of what I had just said. Of the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here, and I received only one a month. Giselle fell silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances, or my family, or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. I just need her to stay quiet and keep her nose out of my business. There's more than I thought, I said to her, not to her, but myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only the book served as a record of how long I had been here. 121! What? There are 121 books! 10 years and 1 month. You were counting? I thought she had just sheepishly gone quiet. What an inscrutable woman. You've been here in the mansion for that long? All by yourself? The truth was, there had been times when I wasn't alone. But Giselle had no need to know that. You already know the answer. A look of pity formed in Giselle's eyes. Enough. I never asked for her sympathy. I am here by choice. You mean you weren't banished here? No restraint, this woman. No. I came here of my own volition. I didn't care enough to elaborate, though. Picking another book off the floor, I brushed the dust off its cover. It was gaudily decorated tome. That's a very fancy book, isn't it? But apparently, Giselle was unable to take a hint. What's it about? I let out a sigh as I opened to no page in particular, sticking the book out toward her. She was a servant and a woman. There was no way she could read. Let's see here.
This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. It can only produce oversour grapes. I would probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. Sounds like a lord's diary. You can read? I was caught slightly off guard.
Yeah, and we're seeing more differences between the tales here. It was rare for a noblewoman to be able to read and write, let alone a servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be? I had someone teach me. So, is this book any interesting? It's dull, worthless tripe. I can't imagine why anyone thought it would be worth binding.
Tough crowd. But it's not often you get to see a lord's diary. I am rather curious what kinds of things he raved about.
Lord or king, what value was there in another's grumbling? There was no knowledge contained within that book. Just emotions, unsightly scribbles. And there was nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional. If you want to read it, be my guest.
That wasn't my intention, but alright. Once I've got the whole mansion cleaned, I'll read it.
I told you, you don't have to clean.
Oh, I've got an idea, Master. If you're interested, maybe we could read together?
Did you just hear a word I said? It's dull, worthless tripe.
Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else.
And I'm sure there are some books here you enjoy, Master. You're wasting your time. This is cute. The thing with the white-haired girl is, like, she was just always just such an innocent, like, pure soul. And so it's such a huge contrast with this somebody who's, like, has, like, a goal that they really want. And in this case, it's just, you know, Giselle's goal so far is literally to just open Michael up a little bit and just gain a companion. The suspicion and restraint budding between us was trite and insignificant at that point. She was still smiling, after all. If I had been able to maintain that distance, then perhaps I wouldn't have ended up hurting her. Hurting her in which way, I wonder? It had been a little under 2 weeks since I had moved in with Michael. Excuse me. It had been a little under 2 weeks since I had moved in with Michael. Though we lived in the same house, we rarely saw each other. On unlucky days, I wouldn't see him at all. I wasn't sure if he ate in his room or his schedules were simply misaligned, but we never had any meals together. Perhaps he was deliberately avoiding me. That has to be it. I know servant and master don't usually eat at the same table, but even so, he could be a little less obvious about it. Oh. Am I really that much of a nuisance? I'm not doing anything inappropriate, am I? I'm being pleasant and sociable, aren't I? I haven't given him any reason to not like me, I think. I hope. He had never been very enthusiastic about me staying here. But I hadn't been given a choice, sorry. I had been sent here by his family. Besides... No, out with the negative thoughts. Gotta stay positive. Yeah, he hasn't tried to chase me out yet. I just haven't broken the ice. I had to stay positive. Optimistic. Happy thoughts.
and be myself. As long as I kept working at it, with enough time, Michael would surely come around and not be so distant. I've got a goal, so let's get to work. First, I make supper, then ask him to have it with me. Gotta be proactive when it comes to the reclusive types. All right, here goes. Or here would go. But we're almost out of supplies. Well, so much for that. The cellar was where the non-perishable food was stored. Dried foods, smoked meats, cheeses, and a small scattering of root vegetables. Looking at this makes me feel like a soldier holding down a castle's fortifications. Had Michael really gone 10 years on nothing but this? I would have raised the white flag a long time ago. He said he hadn't left the mansion at all in those 10 years. I assume he at least goes out to get supplies, right? Running out of food is kind of a life or death matter. I can't believe he hasn't set foot outside even once in... What are you babbling on about? What? Oh no, he overheard me. I assumed you were talking to someone. Huh? Does anyone else live here, Master? I hadn't seen anyone. It is just the two of us. Alive, anyway. You mean there are ghosts? Something of the sort. There you go on again with the jokes. I'm not a child. You're not going to trick me like that. There are adults who believe in such things. I suppose. I don't really believe in ghosts or demons or curses or any of that. The church just tries to convince people that they're real so they can squeeze more money out of them. Am I going to have to turn you over to the church, you blasphemer? No. I pray every day, honest. I don't particularly care either way. I'm returning to my chambers. What? Already? You did, come down for food? I only came down because I heard voices. A moment. Please, just wait a second. What? Our stores are almost empty. What do you normally do when you need more food? I'll happily accompany you on the trip to the market. Already? That was fast. There are two of us. I really didn't eat that much, do I? In the dim light, it was difficult to make out Michael's expression, but I thought I could see a tinge of annoyance on his face. Hold your ground, Giselle. You said you wanted to get closer to him. Is that a parsnip? Michael was holding a tangled ball of roots. Sorry, my pupper's is groaning. Oh, come here. I'll pet you behind the ears. There you go. Is that better? Michael was holding a tangled ball of roots. The reason I asked was because the parsnip looked like it was on the verge of total decomposition. Decomposition. See? There's still food. He then handed it to me. Wait! You want me to eat that? It's clearly seen better days. You're gonna get sick. Or are you telling me you can survive on rotten vegetables? Of course I won't eat it. I just figured you were hardy enough to survive. Whoa! What do you think I am? No, he is definitely a jerk.
or that the resulting diarrhea might reduce your appetite. You're kidding, right? You can't be serious. Anyway, we should bury that outside. Then we can go purchase fresh supplies. I told you, I don't go outside. Then how do you... Huh? A visitor? Who could it be? Perfect timing. You're a servant. Make yourself useful and go retrieve that package. If it's not a delivery but a wanderer, chase them off. What? Package? Master. Hold on a second. What are you talking about? And he's gone. What kind of delivery is he expecting? Michael stood there, unmoving, veiled in shadow. He glanced over at me, then threw his gaze to the front door. At his command, I raised the bar, pulling open the door. After nearly 2 weeks inside, the light from the setting sun almost blinded me. The world went white, my head pounding. Okay, so Michael hasn't mentioned a curse yet. I'm wondering if his albinism is going to be addressed here. After a few moments of intense blinking, my eyes acclimated themselves to the evening sunlight. There was no one outside, only a crate easily large enough to fit a child. Is this the package? Master? I turned back to face Michael, but he wouldn't meet my eyes. It seemed more like he was avoiding looking at the light than me. He's starting to seem more and more like a vampire. Not that I believe in vampires, of course. Regardless, I pray there's nothing bad in here. That's heavy! But Master, could I get some help? Gee, thanks. I am a servant, admittedly, but this is a lot to ask of just one girl. A little help sure would be nice. Once it's inside, close the bar and the door. He said dispassionately, his head still turned toward the darkness. As you wish, Master. Once the door was shut, I found myself sucked back into the world of darkness. It hadn't been even 2 weeks, but the lack of light was beginning to become my normal. The outside world growing further and further away. Being holed up in here certainly is definitely not good for me. I should go for a walk sometime. Maybe plant some flowers or vegetables. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe I can grow that old tangle of roots into some fresh parsnip. What else do we have to plant? It'd be great if we could find some flower seeds. What are you doing? Open the box, now. As you wish, Master. Oh, there's food inside? In the box was a burlap sack filled with berries, root vegetables, and smoked meats, as well as an assortment of breads, fruits, and wine. Wine sounds good right now. Aside from the fruit and bread, everything else was the same as what Michael kept in his cellar. Ah! And buried beneath the burlap sack was a single book. 1 book a month. He really hasn't gone outside in 10 years. It appears you have begun to grasp the situation. Yeah. But why?
This was delivered by someone from your house, Master, wasn't it? A servant, I assume. Why would they leave without saying anything? No one wants to talk to a cursed man. In the past, they would occasionally check in on me, but that hasn't happened recently. They think you're cursed? Oh, right, you don't believe in curses. Then come up with your own explanation. An excuse for them to want to stay away from me. That, for example, I killed someone, or maybe that I'm insane. I couldn't. Regardless, I'm not normal. Bring the food down to the cellar. The book to the library. You are, of course, free to refuse and run back off into the woods. I'll do it. All right. Then you take care of that. Hey. What is it? I just noticed there's something else in here. It's wrapped in cloth. What could it be? Ooh, a painting! For you to hang up somewhere in the house, I presume. Huh? It's so dark I can't see it very well, but I'm sure it's... Don't touch that! What? Michael, who kept his distance from me until that point, suddenly marched over and ripped the painting from my grasp. Master? His face was twisted into a look I'd never seen him make before. Was it indignation? Disgust? Hatred? Panic? I couldn't tell. There was more than enough negative pressure to cause me to flinch back. Is that painting perhaps, something important? A landscape painting. He muttered under his breath, the tension melting away from his face. I was left looking at his usual blank, impenetrable expression. But his eyes were still fixated on that picture, staring at it unblinkingly. Why a landscape painting? Some kind of passive-aggressive message? It's not of anywhere nearby. Did they travel somewhere? Well, if it's not of that girl, so it's not an improvement. Master? Oh, you're still here? Still here? Of course I'm still here. What do you think? You asked to take care of the package. What's with you? Just running over and snatching the painting from me? You scared me. Could you maybe explain yourself? What's so special about that painting? I don't believe that's any of your business. None of my... Of course it is. You ripped it from my hands like I was some kind of thief. I have a right to know what that was all about. And maybe an apology while you're at it. You told me to open the box, so I did. Then all of a sudden you're angry? We are not equals. Do not mistake yourself for my friend. You have a right to know? You have no such thing. You don't have to be rude. I'll say it again. Leave if you don't like it here. I never asked you to be here. That was your wish. My wish? Are you out of your mind? I never asked for this. I never wished for it. Who in their right mind would want to be sent to some house in the middle of nowhere? Who would ever want to go through with that? Yeah. No. Calm down, Giselle. You can't get angry. You're right. This is what I wanted. But I never wanted to make you mad or for us to argue like this. I just wanted to get to know you better, to get closer to you. I mean, it would make things smoother for the both of us. It would make living together more enjoyable for us. Listen carefully. This is very important for you to understand. Do not try to involve yourself with me. Do not go probing around for information. And if you can't do that, leave. I completely shut out. The glare he was giving me and the standoffish aura he was emanating were reflected in his tone of voice. Why? Why did he try to push me away like that? It seemed Giselle really didn't know much about me. Despite being seen from my house, she was unaware of the monthly deliveries, as well as the reason why I had lived in the mansion all by myself. Why, though, would they have not told her anything? Why had she been sent here completely in the dark? Giselle looked up at me, fear and bewilderment in her eyes, though I thought I could see a glint of suspicion beneath it all. Like her true feelings were bubbling to the surface. Everyone had darkness in them they kept hidden. No one was exactly who they appeared to be. She was undoubtedly thinking, I'm not here because I want to be. I knew from the moment I first saw her that her bubbly, sweet effect was all a facade. And she thought I was dense enough to not realize. She was no different than anyone else. What I didn't understand, though, was why she refused to leave no matter how hard I pushed. What was she hiding beneath that innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? What did she carry on her shoulders? Everyone is hiding something, deceiving those around them. I had to figure out what she really was. May I ask you something? Yes? On the day you arrived, you said you made a teeny tiny mistake while working at my family's house. Tell me about that. What did you do at the Bollinger estate? Have I seen that name before? I don't know. The Bollinger estate. I'm trying to remember if we had seen that name in any of the other doors. Nothing's jumping out at me right now. In that moment, brief though it was, her disposition wavered. Fear? Terror? No. Perhaps anger? I couldn't tell. Nevertheless, it was abundantly clear that that was a subject she had no interest in me breaching, and so she had borne her fangs. The smile she donned was now visibly forced. It's nothing you need to concern yourself with, Master. I promise, it was an insignificant little thing. She couldn't say. Why couldn't she tell me? What had she done there? What did this woman know about that house? What did she know about me? What was concealed beneath that smile of hers? I am the master of this house, and you are a servant. And still you refuse to tell me? Like I said, it's nothing. There's no reason to bother you with a mere servant's personal blunders, master. What are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything. Then you should be able to tell me exactly what you did at the Bollinger estate. Like I said, tell me. Tell me. Oh. You won't tell me a thing about yourself, and yet you demand others to tell you about themselves? Here you are, Here you are, practically threatening me, demanding I tell you something I don't want to talk about. And yet you still haven't told me anything about the painting. Oh, so I was right. You do have something to hide. How many times must I repeat myself? We are not equals. I don't care if it's insignificant or something you don't want to talk about. What? I'm ordering you to tell me. A trifling blunder would not get someone sent to live with a cursed man in a house spoken of so unfavorably. Whatever she had done at the Bollinger estate, that had something to do with why she was here. If she truly hadn't done anything, then she had something to gain from this place, or possibly from me. And if that was the case, I had to get her to talk. Make me. Giselle's eyes were open wide. I recognized the look she was giving me. I knew very well what that gaze meant. You're an abomination. It was the same as them. Fear, contempt, revulsion, repulsion. The way she acted. The way she spoke. It was exactly the same. You're no different. I made her uncomfortable. I made her afraid. She thought I was unpleasant. She thought I was despicable. She thought I was an abomination. In a frenzy, I grabbed her by the shoulders, clamping down far more powerfully than I had meant to. Ow, stop! Her face, contorted in pain, morphed into someone else's. Who was I directing my anger at? Hello, Synth. I hope you're doing well. Where was this rage being aimed? Who were you calling an abomination? What? Tell me, who? The black fur bubbling up from within me knew no end. The girl, she ridiculed me. She denied my identity with her glare. I couldn't escape from that phantom, that reality. What are... I never called you a... No, get away from me! Get your hands off me! Giselle's scream echoed in the entrance hall, rattling my eardrums. She frantically smacked my arms aside, and I came back to my senses. She was standing a little ways away, breathing heavily, arms wrapped tight around her body, glowering at me, showing her opposition to my touching her. Enlightening. No. You just, You startled me, that's all. Some servant you are, telling your master not to touch you. Oh, right. I have, you know. I'm, allergic to people. No, you're not. It's a very, unique condition, I hear. It cracks me up that she thinks that would even fly. I mean, can you believe that? See, you know, some people get all red and itchy when they touch a dog or cat. It's that, except for people, so... I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I beg your forgiveness. Why don't you speak your mind? What? This is what's going through your mind right now. I have nothing to apologize for. No, that's not... I can somewhat sympathize with your plight, being made to apologize even though you're hurting. I raised my hand against you first, after all. Then you forgive me? Sympathy does not equate to forgiveness. Now, you take care of the package. I'm heading back to my chambers. What is it? You're not gonna make me leave after what I just did? No, I am not. For it would seem I can make you leave on your own whenever I so please. Besides, I'd yet to learn what she had done. It would be exceedingly difficult to get to the story from her of her own mouth, which left me with one option: to write a letter to my mother, as much as the thought revolted me. Several days had passed since the package arrived. The end of my third week living in the mansion was drawing near. Michael wasn't getting any friendlier either. He continued to either snub or bluntly dismiss me whenever we crossed paths. I didn't understand why he acted that way around me, but there was little point in asking when he seemed to think there was little point in talking to me at all. Sorry. Blah. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tip of the tip of the tip of the tongue. Hopefully that helps. Although at first I had been sure there was some way to get to him, warm up to... No, it didn't. Although at first I had been sure there was some way to get him to warm up to me, the more time I spent in the mansion, the more my willpower began to feel like it was at its breaking point. I could tell myself to stay positive until I was blue in the face, but it would only work for so long. The one pretty place in the whole house. I'm glad he hasn't covered it back up. Blue moonlight shone quietly through the stained glass window, very vainly illuminating some of the room. I hadn't noticed it until now, but the room with the stained glass window appeared to be modeled after a chapel. Rows of pews faced the window, below which sat what used to be a pulpit. There was very little left of it, though, and an awkward length of silver was mounted to the pulpit's front face. What was, I assumed, formerly a cross. Upon further reflection, rather than facing the window, The pews seemed to be pointed at the pulpit, or perhaps the cross hanging on it. I wasn't sure why there would be a chapel in a mansion, but I had no one to ask about it. For a house of this size, a statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary seems more appropriate. It's a very well-made chapel at any rate. I doubted Michael had it built for himself. There would be no reason for him to cover the window if that were the case. Nor had I seen him come to pray. He doesn't seem like one to believe in God. I'm not even sure if God really existed, then surely the world would be a much more pleasant, peaceful place. No unfair disparities in money or power. No senseless misfortune. I certainly wouldn't have found myself here either. But God was evidently quite fond of giving mankind trials, so he would probably tell me with a straight face that this was one too. This is interesting to hear from her because the maid has always told us that God was quite cruel, or that he had a cruel sense of humor. Or perhaps we simply had a false impression of him, and he didn't actually give us anything. He merely sat back and watched from somewhere far, far away. It wasn't his job to bring peace to the world or ensure our laws were fair. That was all mankind's responsibility. What is God? What are angels? I have no idea. Maybe the Bible has answers. Why should I pray to someone so far away? How do I even know my prayer is even getting there? But still, it's not like I have any other options. Don't you worry. It'll work out, promise. I already know where I'm gonna go work. It's a really prominent noble house, way out of reach from some small time merchants like us. You never know. This could be my big break. Yeah. Oh, I'm just kidding. Don't look so worried. I'll be just fine, honestly. I'll make enough money for us to get back on our feet. Oh, for goodness sakes, I can handle it. Leave everything to me. You just wait. I'll make our family into something you can be proud of. I'll be fine. Yeah. Say bye to Mom for me. I probably won't be home for a while. What? You're afraid I'm going to make some careless mistake? I'm not that airheaded. I can be a refined and elegant young lady. Those nobles won't even know what to believe anymore. If you don't believe me, how about I give you a little taste? Ahem. How are you doing this fine morning, master? Your morning beverage is ready, prepared with the utmost of care. See? How about that? Not bad, huh? What? You really think it sounded forced? I was the daughter of a merchant who ran a shop on the capital's main street. My father had passed away in a plague, so it was just me and my mother and my older sister. It would be a lie to say business was going well. We struggled to squeak day to day after taxes, but we couldn't just abandon the shop and leave the capital either. This is why taxes should be abolished. You always think you're making enough money, and then you look at, and then the check comes in, and then there's that little bit on there that gets pickpocketed from you. So we tried to make sure the best of what we were able to take in between the three of us. Then, my sister fell in love, and with a moderately well-off aristocrat. Both my mom and I were supportive of her and her desire to marry. But their union almost fell apart because she was not suitable for him. Merchants were hardly the lowest class. What we lacked, instead, was wealth. We needed another source of money, beyond what our shop took in. If only we had money, my sister could get married. If only we had money, my mom wouldn't have to work so hard. If only we had money. It was then that someone from the distinguished Bullinger estate approached me. He said they were in need of Abigails and would love to have me. He said that if I agreed to work for them, the Bullinger estate would take care of my family. Generally speaking, noble houses took Abigails from other lower-ranked noble houses. It was unthinkable of someone from my status to receive such an offer. So I took it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance and accepted the offer. I just prayed nothing bad happens to my sister. And that Mom is getting enough money to live comfortably. That's all I can do. They're nobility. They have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. The light shining through the stained glass window began to grow murky, fading into blackness. It felt like a message from on high that, no, my prayers would not be answered. The bluish-white illumination shining down upon me disappeared as clouds blocked the moon. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Their nobility. They should have plenty of money. Enough to spare some. Oh, come on. You don't even want to look at a sullied woman like me? Oh, for heaven's sake. I never asked to end up like this. Giselle was sitting at one of the pews in the room with the stained glass window. Just looking at her, you might have thought she was offering a prayer, but the words coming from her mouth were anything but prayerful. They were filled with resentment. They have plenty of money, a sullied woman, and then I never asked to end up like this. So this is what's beneath that facade. Most likely, money is what she's after. All I need to do now is confirm my suspicions with them. Just what awful secrets will I uncover? I gave Giselle, sitting in the pew with her head dropped, a cursory glance before leaving the chapel. I had somewhere to be. Pardon me. Get a sip of my tea. The bitterly cold outside air felt like dozens of needles flowing into my lungs. It had been so long since I had stopped outside the mansion's walls. A thick mist canopied the night sky, blocking out the moonlight. Naturally, the heavens did not rejoice at my leaving the house. It had been 10 years since I had seen the mansion from the outside, and it hadn't changed one bit. A gloomy scar upon the earth, shrouded in darkness. Hardly the kind of place someone would enthusiastically approach. Nevertheless, it was better than that house. Yes? Who is it? Michael. What? Michael? Bullinger? Just one moment. I'll be right there. Come in. It's a humble abode, but make yourself at home. Who's this? Wow, I must say, this is rather unexpected. Just one word and I would have been up there in a heartbeat. And how was I supposed to do that? I am, regrettably, fresh out of carrier pigeons. Right, yes. My apologies. This man, living in a small cottage not far from the mansion, had been hired by the Bullinger family. His job? To watch over me. That said, we never actually interacted. He was tasked with keeping track of whether I was still alive and whether I remained in the mansion. The monthly package from my family was delivered to him, which he then passed on to me. I was insipidly convoluted. Oh my gosh, I can't. Sorry, let me adjust my eye aids really quick. Okay. It was insipidly convoluted, but it was indicative of how much they wanted to avoid anyone learning about me. Well then, what can I do for you? The manservant was visibly rattled. Afraid, too. But not because of the difference in our social ranks. I had a pretty good idea of what he had told about me. He was afraid of me. Or, more specifically, my curse. People fear that which cannot be comprehended. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curses, anything impure of or not of this world. But I had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me. It didn't disappoint me. It didn't pain me. Some things were just too foolish to concern yourself over. Though it certainly doesn't make me feel good either. I was, on some level, annoyed. That woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples in my once tranquil life. So before I got the real reason for my visit, I decided to take out a bit of my frustration. Raise your head. There's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told, but I promise I don't bite. How rude of me. You're right. My sincerest apologies. Your job is to keep watch over me. If the mere sight of me has you trembling, what will you do if I try to run? I would have little trouble escaping. That would be quite unfortunate. What would I ever tell your mother? I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything you've been paid so far. In fact, you might be lucky to get out with your life. Surely your mother would not. You're aware of who you're dealing with, right? Michael, the cursed youngest son of the Bullinger family, who made a pact with the devil. I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything. Have mercy, Lord Michael. Please do not leave the mansion. Please spare me. Only joking. What? I don't have the power to kill by way of curse. The man fell silent, but the look on his face said, You are cursed, though, aren't you? When someone's got an idea planted in their head, it's nigh impossible to get rid of it. I am so cursed that anyone can see it. I need to be locked away in a dark mansion. I'm here because I had a question for you. Not to warn you that I plan to run away. A question? For me? Yes. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired woman came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her. I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear that's all I know. I haven't been told anything else. I believe you. I never thought you would tell anything. I'm sorry. I never thought they would tell you anything. Right. He had been hired to observe me, and that's all he was, a hired hand. He wouldn't be privy to the Bollinger family's internal affairs. Take this. A letter? I needed to deliver it to my mother. You could have just left it in the box from this month's package, and I would have collected it and dropped it off the next one. I'm in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me? Yes. Why, yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning. Much appreciated. Good night. You too. Do take care. Lord Michael. Yes? Is it true that you don't have... Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again? Not at all. My sincerest apologies, Lord Michael. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night. Cursed I most certainly am. My mother's response arrived just 10 days later. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It was almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. Hey, Edgy, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. And shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rift between us grew deeper, and the wall between us impossibly high. When I lay bare the scars in her chest, and mercilessly plunged my knife into them. What? What? That is a very different... I don't know if he's being literal or metaphorical there. Wow. I know he said that he was going to hurt her, but what in the hell is going to happen? Yes, Edgy, you have missed... You've missed a lot. A very big chunk. I'm a little hesitant to spoil it to you, but since you're here, we have uncovered quite a bit. The maid is Giselle. That was the name that we discovered was the white-haired girl's name.
The maid first revealed herself as the Witch Morgana, but we found out that that was not accurate. The maid is Giselle, and Giselle has a history with this character, Michael, of which I'm pretty confident Michael is the player character. And we had only discovered all that because we had borne witness to a false memory. And I had the option to either just accept the fact that Giselle or the maid did not want to look back into this real painful memory. And so we're going into that. So yes, we are back to murder, it seems. How did we get to this point? I hate everything. My spirits were getting darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into a deep morass. I had been in the mansion for a month, and every day since felt twice as long as it should have. I had been optimistic at first. I'd even had a little hope that me and Michael could get along together. But it hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered, and the cheer locked away inside me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, he just gave me a cold glare and nothing more. Scorn and suspicion in his eyes. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted, like I was deep underwater and running out of air. So Giselle is the white-haired girl, huh? I didn't imagine her name to be Giselle of all things. That's the thing. There is a witch. I'm feeling that that's pretty well established. I'm hesitant to guess to lean on a theory of mine just because that twist of Giselle being the maid, that had thrown me for a loop. And since that whole memory was faked and we're now watching the real one, I have no clue what to guess as to what we're going to learn. One of the things I wonder is if the white-haired girl is actually the Witch Morgana. And that's one of my thoughts. The other one of my thoughts is because Michael has the red hair and the red eyes and the white hair. I'm wondering if Michael was projecting himself onto the character of Giselle or the witch. Or the witch could just be her own entity. But the thing is, we do know, or at least it seems, that Giselle did make a deal with the witch. And so she's either being reincarnated or she is immortal. And she is in all these different time periods. Or we just... That's the thing. It's like, since that had thrown everything in on a loop, I do not know what is going to come up next. And I'm having a hard time guessing. I tell you what, though, Edgy, Giselle, I find that to be a very pretty name. That's actually a favorite of mine. Like my very presence in the world was a crime. I never could have imagined just how agonizing constant rejection was. I started despising others, despising myself, despising the world. Convinced there was no one who could set me free. I considered running away from everything rather than live like this another day. But I would have done so long ago if that were actually an option. If they found out I had fled, that I had acted outside their wishes, my mom and sister would pay.
I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. I'd given them happiness. I couldn't take that away from them again. Not after what I had to go through to do it. No, cut that out. Getting way too depressing, Giselle. Pull yourself together. That's not who you are. Be positive. The negativity didn't only come from my interactions with Michael either. No, there seemed to be some kind of terrible presence within the mansion that twisted people's hearts. The mansion was, in fact, a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about before being sent here. People claimed it was cursed, and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Michael joked that he was the witch, but I didn't believe him. I'm not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all. But being here so long, I can't help but wonder. Anyway, things can't go on like this. If I was to remain in this house, the situation needed to improve. A lot. I was going to lose my mind if things kept up as they were. I was ready to give up once, but I'm going to try closing the distance between us again. If I can get him to open up to even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't going to try to make us best friends or anything. Just repair a relationship enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. I've got my work cut out for me. How do I even begin that conversation? Heck, what is that conversation even going to be about? Maybe I should hold off. Do it another day. No. I've made up my mind to do this, so I should get to it quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are going to get. And eventually, there won't be anything to fix. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than 10 seconds. We need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay. Let's do this. I made my way to Michael's chambers, which he had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, but at the very least, I did my best to keep some semblance of smile on my face. Oh, this is the one time where I'd really like to have someone to give me a little nudge. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Pardon, Master. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master? I guess he's not here. The door wasn't locked. As was the rest of the house, his room was shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the candle in my hand. Master? Are you there, Master? I guess I missed him. It's probably best if I don't stick around for long. He's already got less than a stellar impression of me. I don't want to imagine what'll happen if he thinks I've been snooping around his room. Yeah, I should get out of here. I spun around on my heels, taking a step toward the door, when I caught sight of an object draped in a black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but I was intrigued by that object. I'm going to save in case this is an option. Okay. Something he had kept hidden in a room I was forbidden to enter. Maybe it was a clue to discovering Michael's secrets. I reached my hand down toward the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't. Was it because I wanted to learn more about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he hid behind? Or was it the whispers of the witch? What do we have here? I pulled off the sheet, revealing a framed painting of what appeared to be a noblewoman of porcelain white skin. Ah! Yep! What stood out about her, though, was the woman's hair was as pale as her skin. And then... What? I noticed something else. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas, damaging her face beyond repair. What the? I imagined it had once been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there was hardly a trace of that left. The only feeling it transpired anymore was a deep chill. This damage was not accidental, it was deliberate, angry, and the contempt emanating from within the frame was stifling. Thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me. Why would anyone? She was surely a most beautiful woman. Angelic, even. A storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up? Why had the painting been covered? What had happened? Who could have... There's only one person who could have done this. Michael. Why on earth? You saw it, didn't you? You saw the painting, didn't you? You entered my room without permission, and you saw the painting, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that damned woman. I scrambled to make some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble. Oh. I was not expecting that. Why did you enter my chambers? Mike, what were you looking for? Answer me. My mouth wouldn't move properly. I couldn't make my voice come out. It was like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. The wisps of air that were drawn into my lungs were expelled as hoarse gasps. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting any air. I was terrified. 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 Oh, God. I love the red little reflection in her eye of his eyes. That's... Oh, that's so cool. God, look at the colors on this. Okay, so far this is my favorite picture in in the entire game. But I'm biased. I like the emotion in there, but also purple, red, black, and gray. Oh God, it's all my favorite colors in one. Of his eyes, of his voice, of his feelings, of the knife he was holding up to me, of the terrible past I was chained to. The man's voice, the man's very flesh, terrified me. What were you trying to find, and what were you planning to do with it? Answer me. Another thing you refuse to tell me then? No, I'm trying. Nothing's coming out of my mouth, though. Everything's so bright. And I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe. That's fine, though. You don't have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea. An idea? What do you mean? Money is what brought you to the Bullinger estate. And it's what brought you to me, too. There are countless people who love to see the house fall. And a noble family fears nothing more than disrepute. You were, I presume, approached by someone scheming the Bullingers' downfall. No. And just as it happens, the Bullingers have a very unfortunate secret, one they are quite desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Someone suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bullinger family. Is this girl actually his sister, or even his mother, perhaps? Let's see. Michael, who made a pact with the devil, who is supposed to be dead, but is very much alive. You sweet-talked your way into that house, and into information about me in my present situation. And you meant to trade that information for money. I bet whoever it was put a quite handsome price on it, too. Or maybe the one plotting to ruin the Bullinger family is you. No, that's not true. Then enlighten me. Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way. Then tell me, if that's not the reason that you wormed your way into the Bullinger estate, and that's not what you're doing here, then tell me what it is. Tell me why you came to this mansion. You want me to tell you about that? No, wait. That's asking way too much. Tell me. I swear, I haven't done anything wrong to you. I simply wanted to make our life together a little more comfortable. To bring some warmth to this frigid relationship we have. That's the only reason I wanted to find out more about you. I must assume I'm right then, Giselle. I must tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean him no harm. But I can't say anything. A merchant's daughter became an Abigail at a noble house. Could you come up with a more obvious lie? Your father's the one who... Wait. How does he know that I'm from a merchant family? You look perplexed. I may be imprisoned in this house, not free to move about as I please, but I have my ways. I know everything. Everything. Then he knows about that too. Oh yes, I do know. Please. Don't. In your quest for money? Don't say it. You slept with my father. Oh. Oh. Oh, God. She did that to help her mother and sister out.
Oh my God. That's really sad. In that moment, Michael plunged his knife into my heart. He carved through my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. In a panicked frenzy, and probably screaming all the way, I knocked the man aside and ran and ran and ran. I could hear a clap of thunder in the distance. Oh, how I wished a bolt of lightning would come crashing down upon me. Maybe if God burned my tainted flesh in divine thunderbolt, it would get rid of some of the filth. That jagged streaks of light cascading across the dark clouds did not strike me, only creating restless rumbles in the sky. Why? I knew that if I fled that mansion, I would likely be causing trouble for my mom and sister. But I was helpless to stop myself. All I could do was run from all that threatened me with no regard for the consequences. Before long, small droplets of rain began falling, which soon grew heavy enough to penetrate the forest canopy and reach the ground where I stood. The downpour drowned out my tears and my cries, because I had rushed from the mansion without even putting on a cloak. Each cold winter droplets stung bitterly against my flesh. Sorry, my eye aids are really failing me now. 1 second. Oh. Typically I'm just stammering or stuttering or misspeaking, but no, my eyes just went way out of whack there. But the bite of the rain was like a warm embrace compared to what I had been through before. Michael had spoken the truth. As much as I wanted to deny it, to avert my eyes, reality forever engraved in this body. No, I don't want to think about it. But I had no say in the matter. Get out of my head! Oh, I don't want to read this. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. Fuck me. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. I really don't want to read this. God damn. This got real sad real quick. Come over here, Giselle. Okay. May I ask you why you asked me here so late at night, Master? Oh, I just wanted to have a little chat. Care for some wine? Come closer, and I'll pour you a glass. I had this wine imported from up north. They use a very hard water, and like it rather tart, so it leaves quite the lasting impression on your tongue. And yet, it goes down so easily, you just can't seem to stop. What do you say? Have a sip. Or does your expertise as a trader allow you to evaluate a wine's quality without tasting it? No, but, please, Giselle, don't trample over my good graces. Very well, then. I'll have a sip, Master, but no more.
Have you ever considered growing out your hair? Having long hair made it difficult to do my job. You're not a merchant anymore, though. You deserve to look like the woman you truly are. I have no doubt longer hair would accentuate your natural beauty. Oh, she's got very long hair as the maid. It's a gorgeous shade of black, so deep a man could get lost in it for years. It would contrast the color of your skin fabulously. Can't talk. Highlight your eyes, your cheekbones, your nape, your shoulders, and your chest. I should get going. Oh, but we're not done talking yet. I would not want a lack of sleep to interfere with my ability to work tomorrow. Thank you very much for the wine. It was Huh? No need to be so cold-hearted now. From the moment I first laid eyes on you. Master, that's enough fooling around for one night. No, oh. He raped her. Oh my God. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. Fuck. I simply want to express my love. Let go of me. I only came here to work, nothing more. The first time I saw you, I thought it would be tragic waste to leave you to wither away working at some little street-side shop. Stop! You can't tell me you didn't know a merchant girl had no place in a house like this, even as a servant. There's only one reason you would be allowed here. No, I swear it never even crossed my mind. It would seem you're more innocent than you look. But you've figured it out all by now, haven't you? No, let go of me. Stop this. Keep your voice down. Do not shout, Giselle. If anyone were to find out about this, you would be the one shouldering the consequences, not me. But you're a maid, and I'm the master of the house. Whose word do you think holds more weight? Don't worry, I won't do anything to hurt you. I promise your family will be exceptionally well taken care of. Your mother will have the comfortable life you wanted for her. But you know what will happen if you raise a fuss and make a fool of yourself. Not only will your family not get any of our money, and not only will your sister not get to marry, you'll have to spend the rest of your lives in the streets. How could you be so cruel? This is blackmail. Blackmail? For a merchant's daughter, you don't know much about trade, do you? Let me give you a little lesson about market value. The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap. Understand? Now, let me see that beautiful body. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. He was an older man, so I hadn't expected him to be very strong. I couldn't break free of his grip, and I found myself entirely at his mercy. Okay, this is also explaining why Giselle, as the maid, probably did not want to revisit these memories. Beneath the gaudy outfit lay a hungry beast, and I was seeing the creature's true colors for the first time that day. The aging man ran his disgusting, slobbery tongue across my exposed skin. Everything he placed his hands on withered away. Oh my God. Every piece of flesh he pressed his lips against putrefied, rotted, decayed, wrinkled, I trembled in revulsion, at which the man laughed, seemingly interpreting it as something else. I wonder what kind of place hell was. If hell's wardens only flayed and carved their prisoners, I would have preferred that instead. I would have rather been sliced into tiny little chunks and cast into hellfire. I would have chosen eternal torment over being touched by this man another second. But I didn't get to choose my hell. Eventually, the man forced open the gates I had been holding fast and spread his festering death inside me. Oh, fuck. Oh my God. Listen to me, Giselle. It is in both of our best interest to keep this between the two of us. If you can do that, I'll continue to do good by you and your family. Oh, don't look at me like that, please. I'm thrilled to have you here in this house, Giselle. She has long lost her mind, after all. It's torture just being in the same room. And my sons, they hardly ever come home. But you, Giselle, you give color to my dull life. You make it exciting once again. Now go on back to your room. I'll be waiting here at the same time next week. Oh my God, he did that more than that? Fuck. I couldn't escape that man's grasp. Not when he used my family against me. Some weeks, I would just not go to his chambers by one feeble means of resistance. But when I did that, he would send another Abigail to come find me the next day. I couldn't ignore his summons when he got other people involved. And then, when the two of us were alone, the mask would come off, and he would discipline me for not showing up before taking care of his usual business. On good days, he would leave bruises in inconspicuous places, my abdomen, my inner thighs. But he went as far as carving a word into my skin with a knife. Oh my fuck. Harlot. Oh my God. That was why I was afraid of knives. That was why I was afraid of men shouting. I wasn't even sure what to regret anymore. I was in far too deep. There was no turning back the clock. I even considered taking my own life on more than one occasion. Oh, fuck. But every time that thought crossed my mind, happy memories came with it. Back when it was just the three of us girls and the shop. Life may not have been easy, but it was never dull either. I didn't want to end my life at its absolute lowest point. I wanted, if just temporarily, to go back to the way things were back then. That objective was the only thing that allowed me to keep going. When I was in his presence, I tried to convince myself I was merely an object. I had no emotions, so he couldn't hurt me. I was merely a vessel, a construct of flesh and bones. His hands couldn't reach my heart, but it was not connected to my body. Doing that made it a little easier to bear. But the reality was, it was impossible to completely sever my heart from my body. You're Giselle, aren't you? One day, the mistress of the estate stopped me in the halls. She had, supposedly, once been quite beautiful, but now she was only haggard and bony. Her skin dry, her eyes sunken, her hair faded and stripped of its luster. Her head down, her cracked lips barely moving as she spoke. Age didn't appear to be the only thing working its merciless magic on her either. Oh my fucking God. There seemed to be something eating away at her from the inside too. Something that could burst at the slightest touch. Yes, I am Giselle. Is there something I can do for you? The mistress rarely ever left her chambers. I had been told it had been years since she had attended family supper. So what would bring her to come looking for someone like me? Didn't you? What? I wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer. You're having relations with my husband, aren't you? You are, aren't you? Madam? You wretched creature. She was telling me the truth. One of my trusty maids caught a glimpse of you through the crack in the door. She saw you with him, you filthy rat. You seduced my husband. You devil, you conniving witch. You don't get it, do you? You don't realize how grievous your sin is, do you? Someone, anyone, restrain this girl. She's a demon, a devil. Tie her up and hand her over to the clergy. No, that won't be enough. A witch, you have to burn her bones, scatter the ashes, or she'll just come back to life. Yes, execute her. Kill this woman and burn the witch. Seize the paste she's stolen from me. Cursed. It's cursed. This house is cursed. Not only has it taken away my daughter, now it's trying to take away my husband. Oh, God, please shine thy cleansing light upon this house. I knew it would be a waste of breath trying to talk to her. She was not of sound mind. There was madness in her eyes. I didn't even have to make a fuss about it. It happened all on its own. If there was no way around it, then I should have just done it myself after the first time. I didn't have the energy to argue with her, or to cry, or to shout. Before long, a crowd began to form around me and the sobbing mistress, and in it stood him. I assumed he would just stand back and watch. But much to my surprise, he stepped in with an embarrassed look on his face to try to settle his wife down and convince her to not have me executed. Maybe he did have a heart after all. Or maybe he just wanted a safe face. Regardless, instead of being burned at the stake, it was decided I would be sent away to some remote forest. One of the previous Bollinger family heads had purchased a mansion there long ago, but had been abandoned because of the stories people told about it. They said a cursed witch dwelled in the house. She had returned to life after being executed, and now skulked about in the darkness. It was the perfect place to banish a sinner. And so, accused of adultery, I was in a carriage on my way out of the capital the next day. I hope my mom and sister are all right. The two of them will believe in me, even if no one else does. The wooden wheels turned, carrying me away to that cursed mansion. Just a silent coachman and a single, sullied passenger. Looking out through the window, I could see the city wall slowly fading into the distance behind us. I doubted I would ever set foot in this land again, ever cross the Grand Pont again. It was a saddening reality, but at the same time, I felt a surge of relief. I'd finally escaped from that house. I'd finally escaped from that man. The sense of freedom slightly lessened the weight of everything else I was feeling. A good while after we left the capital, a coachman handed me a letter. On the sheet of parchment was a rather startling revelation. There was someone else already living at the house where I was set to reside. The Bollinger's youngest child. But the letter didn't say why he had been sent to a cursed mansion, only that he was there. Beyond that, the letter only made a single request, that I look after him and not ask any questions. So I'm not just being set off into the middle of nowhere. I still have work to do. If I look after whoever's at the mansion, then they'll do the same for my family. I don't have much to say in the matter either way, I suppose. The carriage rattled and shook as it traversed the stony path, and bouncing around inside it, I resolved to take back my life. The peace I had once known, the cheerfulness I had lost, and to do so I would forget, lock away my memories, bury every terrible thing that had happened to me, cast aside those memories and find my smile once more. I have no idea what I'm going to find there, but they couldn't possibly do anything worse to me. I'll greet them with a smile, and do my best to build up a decent relationship with them. I figured, since the both of us had been banished to the same cursed mansion, there would probably be other things we had in common, and so I would forget it all and get my life back, get my smile back. And that was everything that led up to me arriving at the mansion. All the wounds I never wanted to open again. I didn't want to think about that. I've been trying so hard to forget about it. I wanted to forget all about it. So why? Why did you have to make me remember? All I did was believe. Believe that we could make things work. Why? How could you? God, I can't take it anymore. Oh. Once the memories had broken free, they all flooded back with perfect clarity. Exactly how he ran his hands across me. Exactly where he hit me, where he cut me. Like I was going through it again, this very moment. The rain was cooling me down on the outside, but so much nauseating heat had built up in my gut. I vomited all over the ground. I threw up and I threw up and I threw up until there was nothing left but bile. And when I had nothing left to expel, the strength evacuated from my knees, and I collapsed. I didn't know if everything was blurry because of the rain or because my eyes had decided they were done looking at anything. The whole world twisted before me. Michael's no different. My attempts to get close to him, to always keep a smile on, it was all a waste. The look in his eyes was terrifying. Like he didn't believe in anything at all. So he probably wouldn't have believed me. If I had told him the truth, if he's convinced I have an ulterior motive, there's probably no changing his mind. Such a cold rain. If I lie down here and go to sleep, I wonder if all the warmth will eventually drain from my body, and I'll decompose and become part of the earth. You know, that might actually be nice. I'd like that. I always thought I didn't want to die, that I wanted to go back to the way things were. But who cares anymore? I did my best, after all, and that still got me nowhere. Cheerful Giselle. was all just a farce. And when I'm dead, all my worry for my mom and sister will fade away with me. Oh God, I doubt you have a place for me on high. I am, after all, an unclean woman, and I've given up on living altogether. But even if I can't get into heaven, that's okay. I want release. The rain pitter-pattered down through the leaves overhead, chilling my skin. The cold spread through my flesh and into my bones, my heart, my lungs, and stomach, freezing me like a block of ice. My consciousness drifted away from me, and the world slipped through my fingers. More than fear, I felt relief. Utter black. And that, I was sure, was the end of me. That... Holy fuck, that was a lot to take in. Oh my God.
You poor woman. Holy shit. I wouldn't have even begun to guess that. When she was talking about her being unclean and stuff like that, like the little hints of it in the chapel and such, I was thinking, oh, maybe she just slept with like somebody she had a crush on or something like that. But it's like, no, I was not expecting that, this guy was continuously forcing himself on her and blackmailing her family. Like, holy shit. Oh my God. And that, I was sure, was the end of me. I am, even now, putting her through a harrowing experience, digging up the memories she locked away, and the past she wanted to pretend never happened, and laying it all out before her once more. But I must get her back to who she was, even if it means forcing her to endure this. She must remember everything, because I need to know, why did she become the maid? And what secrets does this house hold? You're... Michael. Yep, I got that right. Yeah. Yes, my name is Michael. I am not the white-haired girl. The person you were searching for was the man who once hurt you deeply. Me. So how did they get here, though? Why? What was her why referring to? Why I hurt her? Or why I'm here? Or perhaps, why I didn't show up until now? Not having an answer for her, I clench her cold hands in mine. I wonder, were her hands this cold that night too? There's still more we need to see, though. And it's still too soon for me to apologize. When she's gotten everything back, only then can I. When she's reclaimed herself, that is when I must tell her. Now, let us return to our past. Not until I save. Holy fuck, man. This... Yes, this is pretty tragic. Yeah, this is... I can't tell which is sadder. Pauline's death or this.
Because we don't even know what happens to the maid or, Giselle and Michael at the end of this yet. So I do not know which one is more sad yet. Holy shit, man. This game. it's good, but goddamn, everything is just it's pretty depressing. Our story had only just begun. No matter what we thought or what we desired, no matter what we lost or how much pain we suffered, we must not shut this door. Oh, God. That poor, poor woman. Perfect darkness embraces us once more. I can see nothing, not even the woman beside me, but I shall not let go of her hand. I do not want her to slip away from me. I do not want to lose her. Stay with me. Are you all right? Oh, thank goodness you're awake. How's your head? Can you see me? What? You had me scared silly there. I thought I might have lost you for good. I'm really glad you're alive. Where am I? And who is this man? What was I doing? You feeling up for any food? I can whip up some porridge for you right quick. I was in the forest. It was raining. Before that, I was at the mansion. I feel sick. Like there's something still in my stomach. No, thank you. I don't want anything. You really should have something. You need to keep up your energy. Unless you want to conk out again in an hour. Sounds good to me. I'd rather never wake up at all. You're not in the highest of spirits either, it seems. All the more reason to get something warm in you. Please, have something. I've got some milk on the fire. I bet you can handle a cup of that. That's something that I've never understood, unless I'm like making hot chocolate or something. What is the deal with warm milk? Why is that a thing? It just seems bizarre to me. Sorry for that tangent. You start losing all hope once the cold gets that deep in you, reaches down to your core. Take me at my word. Please. Just one sip. You'll feel like a whole new gal. Sorry, just taking a sip of my tea. A heart-wrenchingly pleasant aroma wafted up with steam from within the... my fucking God. A heart-wrenchingly pleasant aroma wafted up with the steam from within the wooden cup. Succumbing to the sweet smell, I lifted the cup to my lips for just one sip, and the warmth that spread through me brought tears to my eyes. Perhaps there really was kindness in the world. A ripple spread across the surface of the milk. I heard a gentle sigh come from the man beside me, after which he said with a smile, "You should take it easy for the day." I had lost the willpower to think about anything. I didn't care what had happened to me or why I was here, who he was, or even where this was. I spent the whole day in bed, just watching the sun slowly slide across the wooden floor. I felt like I was somewhere far, far away. At times, I felt like a lost child, and at times, like a sickly old woman on her deathbed. Watching the sun travel gave me a renewed awareness of the passage of time, and the fact that each moment it went by was another moment I was alive. I realized then that it had been a while since I had gotten more than a brief glimpse of any sunlight. It almost surprised me how colorful the world seemed beneath the sun's light, something I didn't get much of in the dark mansion. Only after losing something do you realize how much you need it. Warm milk, the sun shining through the window, and a bed that smelled like springtime. With those three things, my heart slowly began to defrost, and I started to regain the willpower to stand on my own 2 feet. Thank you for everything. You sure you're in any shape to be on your feet? Yes, I'm fine. I'm not hurt. You looked pretty beat up to me. But you look a lot better now. And you're talking a lot more clearly than before. You've been very generous, despite having never met me before. And for that, you have my deepest gratitude. Without your help, I would no longer be in this world. I don't deserve your thanks. You are alive now because God's guidance made it so. God? I came across you early this morning as I was heading into the forest to hunt. Imagine my surprise when seeing a young lady like you on the ground in my path. What were you doing in the forest? You don't have to tell me if you'd rather not. Everyone's got their own share of personal problems. You're not going to demand I talk? I have no reason to force you to do anything. You look like you'd been to hell and back. What? I could tell just by looking at you. Now then, do you have somewhere you can go? Somewhere to go. Of course I don't. Here, one second. Alright, sorry for that. Sorry about that. I had something cooking in the other room. I just had to turn it off. Anyways, of course I don't. I can't go back to the capital or the mansion. If not, then why don't you stay here? Here? Sure, it's a small village. We're self-sufficient. We can help each other out. No tax-hungry lords know we built this place either. We keep everything we make. We're pretty remote as a result, and the harvest isn't fantastic. But I'm sure you'll find it comfortable here. The rest of the villagers will be glad to have you. Oh, this is sweet. What do you say? Sorry, Mom. What I'm about to do might make the rest of the family's lives more difficult. But I don't want to have to feel any more pain. If it really wouldn't be inconveniencing you. If it's really okay, then yes. I would like to stay here. That's great to hear. I was loath to send you back out there in your current condition. I haven't introduced myself yet, have I? The name's Amadei. Just one lowly villager of many. That's I don't know if that's correct. You're gonna be Amadei. I'm not doing the whole Jacopo crap that I did earlier, because I cannot speak Italian whatsoever. Oh God. Throw some Germanic throw German in front of me, or any of the Slavic languages. Then I can pronounce those correctly, but anyways. I'm Giselle. Giselle. That's a beautiful name. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a vacant house. Clean it up, you can call it home. I couldn't possibly ask for that. I doubt others would like it if I just took a house for myself. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm the villager's representative, more or less. Representative? Like the chief? Only a name, though. As I mentioned, we're not on any lord's maps, so I don't have much representing to do. The only reason I ended up in charge is because I'm a bit more educated than anyone else. It was a long time ago, but I understudied with the priest. Because of that, I'm familiar with the Bible's teachings. So rather than chief, the people of the village look at me more like a priest. Wouldn't be much fun if the church found out about that. They're liable to think I'm acting unordained. Then, you believe in God? That's quite the question. Of course God exists. He's always watching over us. That's why you survived. Because he protected you. I understand your faith can waver when you're going through times of tribulation. But there are times when it's most important you keep sight of who you are. Right. Now, you get some rest. Tomorrow, I'll show you around the village. Thank you. I truly mean it. I really, sincerely appreciate everything. Don't mention it, Giselle. This is your village now, too, so you don't need to act like a stranger anymore. Okay. So he's Amade. He seems like a nice man. Maybe here, I can live in peace. It'll be alright, I'm sure. Yeah. I wasn't silly enough to believe my life would be perfect. But I had found a tiny fragment of my lost hope. While I had once been ready to give up on absolutely everything, I was starting to feel like I might be able to smile again, eventually. Like I might be able to get back on my feet. And in order to do that, I had to cast aside my past once more. Forget everything that had happened at the Bollinger estate, and everything that had happened at that mansion. That's dangerous, though. It's difficult to live with the past, but you can't track through reality if you don't acknowledge reality. Forget about Michael. There was one niggling curiosity, though, that I couldn't shake. Something he had said before I left. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. Ew! Oh. Is he a bastard kid? I mean, his father's already quite clearly, the cursed youngest son of the Bollinger family. Michael, who made a pact with the devil. Who is supposed to be dead, but is very much alive. Well, okay, maybe not that, I don't know. We'll figure that out. What had he meant by that? Why wouldn't people think he was dead? No, I don't care about Michael one bit. Forget it. Forget everything. The house was, as it had always been, wrapped in a thick silence. Giselle's shadow, which had been lurking in the halls for about a month, was nowhere to be found. She hadn't come back since running off that day. My secret was still safe. Her efforts had, in the end, all been for naught. Back to the way things were. But despite my mind telling me that it was for the best, I felt a kind of guilt seething in the back of my chest. And any attempts to figure out why only had made me feel worse. But the look on her face then. Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way. Was that really her just putting on an act because I revealed her scheming? She was screaming, though, and she looked genuinely terrified when she knocked my hand away. I'm not falling for anything. I feel like I know that frenzied panic. Something doesn't add up. Be quiet. Silence, please. My head was pounding beyond belief. I couldn't stand anything. This world, the creature I was, the witches whispering. The archangel looking down upon me seemed to be cackling from somewhere far out of reach. So, for whatever it was worth, to escape his gaze, I once again drew the drapes over the stained glass window. Whoa! It's someone new! Hey, where are you from? You gonna be here long? Are you? We hardly get any visitors here, so they're downright awestruck by you. You'll be getting a lot of attention for a little, but please don't let it get to you. No, that's just fine. I'll do my best to get along with everyone. You got a spark in you that wasn't there yesterday. Anything in particular that cheered you up? In particular? Once I decided I was gonna stay here, I just sort of started feeling better about things. And I figured I couldn't stay gloomy forever. I see. Glad to hear it. And it's all thanks to you, Amade. Keep thinking me like that and my cheeks might get stuck red. In any event, I said I'll show you around yesterday, so how about we do that? Lead the way. That said, we're a modest little village, for about 100. Everyone knows everyone. For that size, it looks pretty big to me. Amade taking the lead, we walked through the village, passing by crop fields and milk cows, presumably shared among the villagers. Houses were scattered across an area that seemed far too large for only 100 people. Actually, getting a better look at them, the buildings were dilapidated, looking more like ruins than residences. Once upon a time, this was a city rather than a village. When your ancestors lived here? Oh no, we were drifters fortunate enough to come across some decent looking land, so we stuck around. How do you know what it was like before then? There were a few stone tablets left behind, and based on what we were able to extract from their texts, this area used to be a large city with a booming economy rivaling that of the capital. There weren't hundreds, but thousands of people bustling about. Merchants from afar came in droves. It was much like how the capital is now. Actually, this area was more open to foreigners. People of all different races, speaking as many different languages. It was all evidently quite the sight and sound. I had no idea there was a city here. That's what happens when a place is wiped from history. I couldn't tell you how reliable the tablets are, but if you take them at their word, this city lost everything in just a single week. Damn. What? People, crops, livestock, all dead. Maybe it was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague. I can't say for sure. This is what the tablets said, though. Oh. We have been cursed by the witch. Cursed by the witch. Oh, remember that one story? Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah, that story. Look over there. You see that river? Used to be a magnificent bridge crossing it, but there's hardly anything left of it. If you continue along the path beyond the fallen bridge, there's a forest. That's where I found you. The deeper parts of the forest are so dense you can't see anything but tree trunks and leaves. It's an eerie place, wrapped in a cloud of darkness. Hey, stop that. If you make it through that, there's a mansion, which is said to be cursed. Hey, I said stop that. Hey. Forgive me. Hey, cut that out. Here, there you go. Sorry, my dog, she was trying to get this bone that was out of reach. The witch who supposedly destroyed the city lives in the house deep in the forest. She's been there for years and years and years, and she casts her curse on anyone who goes near it. The city was so large that the mansion was actually in its borders. My guess is the bridge was built to mark the road leading to it. Now, as you can see, the bridge is gone and the house is still standing or practically in ruins. But the mansion alone looks just as it did back then. The witch living in the mansion goes by the name Morgana. There it is. According to the records, someone by that name was executed in the area for witchcraft. And even in death, she continues to bear her grudge against mankind. Who knows how much of it is true, though? Truth or fiction? The story has taken root, and it has taken root in this region. The city's history may be lost, but the legend of the witch continues to be told. People have a tendency to keep stories alive that scare them. So even in this one that's a real, authentic story, there's still little bits of that fabricated memory that are real. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. No, I'm fine. You're best staying away from that mansion in the forest at any rate. There's no saying that what might happen if curiosity gets the better of you. Better safe than sorry, if you ask me. Aside from the mansion, this is as peaceful a village as you'll find. I don't know where you came from, but I'm glad you didn't end up wandering up there. I know all about the mansion and who lives there. I was there, after all, with Michael for a full month. But I don't remember any cursed witch. Just a man with a bone-chilling glare. Maybe the rumors about a witch living there were spread by him. Or perhaps even his family. I could see them doing that. But none of that matters to me anymore. I'm never going anywhere near that house again. The witch's curse, Michael, they're nothing to me. With nowhere else to go, I ended up in this small village. There was no denying there was very little to speak of here. But I found peace in that nonetheless. Peace in that nothingness, sorry. I couldn't have been more blessed with such a kind man who had found me and welcomed me into the village. The village ran entirely on its own crops and livestock. They had no currency, merely bartering among themselves. Coming from a merchant's family, everything felt so new. I had never plowed a large plot of land, milked a cow, or used a loom before. At first I wasn't sure what to think, being such a departure from my lifestyle at the capital. But over time, I grew more comfortable with my new life, and the people of the village started thinking of me as one of them. So where does it go wrong? Fuck. We know this game so far. Nothing ever stays happy. Come on, Giselle, come play with us. We're playing hide and seek today. Can't. Sorry, I'm spinning yarn. You can do that later. Come on, play with us. Stop that. Don't pull on my skirt. Oh, all right, you win. When I'm done with this, I'll join you. And no ditching. We'll be down at the square, okay? Got it. See you there. Kids are having quite a liking to you. Ah, Amade. You think so? They've been incredibly lively since you arrived. Children are more sensitive than adults. Sensitive? They're very perceptive of how others are feeling. If you begrudgingly play along, they'll pick up on that quickly. You like children, and that's a wonderful thing. There's not a good woman in the world who dislikes children. Why, thank you. I don't think it's so much that I like them, as I'm kind of like a big kid myself. I genuinely enjoy hide and seek, but that's not going to earn me any points. I like kids too. Watching them gives me faith that the world has a bright future. A bright future. I never looked at them that way. They seem to like you quite a bit too, Amade. Thanks. Though I'd rather give my affection to my own kids. Oh, you have children. Oh, heavens no. I thought that was obvious enough. I'm talking about the future. I see. But knowing you, Amade, I'm sure you'll find someone right for you and have kids of your own in no time. It's not that easy, sadly. Even in such a small village, there are no ladies who would take interest in me. You don't give yourself enough credit. I'm fully confident you'll find someone soon enough. Do you really think so? Absolutely. Then perhaps you could be that person. What? Pardon? I won't pressure you into it, of course. But I think it would be marvelous to have you in my life in a bigger way. But it's a little soon for me to be thinking about settling down like that. It's pretty sudden, I admit. Take all the time you need to consider it. All right. I have to go play with the kids now. Have fun. I wonder if he really meant it. Amade is a nice fellow. And I'm sure living here would be wonderful. I can't help feeling something isn't right here. Why am I thinking about him now, of all times? The man has no redeemable qualities. Not one. As it turned out, Amade was serious about his proposition, and he brought it up every time we ran into each other. Unable to give him an answer, I found myself constantly apologizing to him. Soon, winter started giving way to spring. On a day when the air still had a brisk winter bite and budding seedlings battled to break through the earth, the seams holding the village together began to come loose. That day, the village men were gathered in the square talking. They had all stern looks on their faces. It was clear that something had happened. I obviously couldn't stick my head in, so I waited until they were done and caught Amade. While it was rather awkward, I was still more comfortable asking him for information more than anyone else. Actually, with a dejected look on his face, he started explaining. A lord found out about this village. What? And he said he's going to place this land under his rule, meaning he'll start collecting taxes. In addition, he's already demanding we pay 5 years' worth of back taxes for our unauthorized use of this land. Fuck. Fuck government. Fuck government. And fuck taxes. What? That's ridiculous. Yes, It most certainly is. We obviously don't have the means to pay 5 years' taxes. There's no reason for him to take over this village at all. We're completely isolated from the surrounding area, after all. But if we resist, he could send soldiers. It doesn't matter how absurd his claim to the village is. We have no choice but to comply. That's terrible. What are we going to do then? We're going to do as the Lord demands. 5 years' taxes will have to be paid in installments. Some of the men suggested we abandon the land and find somewhere else. But it would take time to cultivate the land and plant new crops. It's no trivial task. We'll just have to make with these changes. We'll use more of the land and grow and try to be more efficient. Will you help in the fields? Of course. This village is my home now, too. Thank you, Giselle. It will be difficult, but if we all pitch in, I'm sure we can get through this. I thought the same thing. If we all work together, we can make it through this rough patch. The collection of taxes brought more than just a burden for everyone else to share. It brought emotional strain and conflict in the village, too. Yeah, it's almost as if government screws everything up. Your family has more hands to work the fields. I have a sickly child. You expect him to work harder than he is? I know you're hiding grain in your cellar. You have more than us. Let us keep a little grain. You have more. No, you have more. You both have more than us. When their comfortable lives fell under attack, the villagers' top priority became their own property. The cooperation was only temporary, and before long, everyone became a threat. The negative energy only built on itself, its growth accelerating like a boulder rolling down a hill. And it wasn't long before the sights fell on me, the outsider. Oh, shit. Come on, get moving. Ow! Stop that! Why are you doing this? It'll stop once you've told us everything. Told you everything? One morning, a man dragged me from my house and took me to the square. There, the entire rest of the village was gathered, all eyes on me. What? What's this about? Oh, don't play stupid. We all know it was you. What was me? The thief. Amade? From the crowd appeared someone I knew quite well. The ever affable village representative. The man who had saved my life. But in his eyes now, I thought you were better than that. Was contempt, anger, scorn. So many different shades of negativity. I recognized what I saw in his glare immediately, as someone who had been subjected to those looks before. But why? For what reason was he looking at me like that? I couldn't make sense of what was happening, so I just stood there stupefied. There's been a rise in reports of people having things stolen lately. This village is too small to attract bandits, though. Since the Lord now demands we pay him taxes, even the smallest item can have a dramatic impact on a family's living conditions. What you've done is no joke. Wait just a second. I haven't stolen anything. Why do you think I... You have been seen in the act. What? So long as there is testimony against you, your guilt is assured. Well, who says they saw me? I swear I didn't do anything. This is that old English justice system. That was the same one that existed with the Salem witch trials. They're obviously lying. You're the one who's lying. You've been playing us for fools the whole time. Everything was fine until you showed up. We managed not to get found until you showed up. No, that's not my fault. Giselle, apologize to the village and return what you've taken. Amade, don't you believe me? There were multiple witnesses. Several different people saw you stealing. I've known these people long enough to be family, and I trust them like family too. They're not liars. But no, they're framing me. I didn't steal anything, I swear. Framing you? Now you want to put this on us, woman? Unbelievable. Have you forgotten we welcomed you into our village? Hamade, please believe me. You of all people should believe me. You've been avoiding me of late, haven't you? What? Because you had something to hide, correct? No, What other reason could you have to avoid me? Why? How could he say these things? Why won't he believe me? Now, return the things you've stolen. I can't. I never stole anything. How am I supposed to return something I don't have? I see. So you've already moved the stolen goods. She said she doesn't have them anymore, folks. How should we deal with this? Rough her up till she talks. Yeah, she's not getting off that easy. Give us back our property. Why is this happening to me? The harsh new leadership has driven this people mad. I need to get away from this village quick. Restrain her. No, get your hands off me. Have you forgotten everything we've done for you? All that matters is that you don't have to suffer. Is that it? I didn't do anything. Take her to my house. We'll make sure she tells us everything. No, stop. You've all gone mad. Please, come to your senses. With men on all four sides of me, I was dragged into Amade's house. He sat coolly in a chair, and they shoved me to my knees before him. I'll ask you this one more time, Giselle. Where did you put the things you stole? And I'll keep giving you the same answer. I didn't take anything from anyone. Please believe me. Do you swear, with God as your witness? I do. I swear with all my heart. You don't actually believe her, do you, Amade? She not only sold us out to a lord, she's now threatening to make our lives downright impossible. Again, that's just a coincidence. Listen to me, Amade. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the woman hath committed the 3 sins. She has lied, she has stolen, and she has betrayed her fellow man. Why are you doing this, Amade? You were such a good man. I am deeply disappointed in you, Giselle. As much as I don't want to do this, I have to get the truth from you. Amade. Of course. Why didn't I see it? I'm still just an outsider to them. Why would he believe a stranger's word over the word of the village? His family? The water. What? A man set a wooden well bucket on the floor in front of me. It wasn't clean water from the well, though, but grimy, murky wastewater. I reflexively turned my head away from the stench, but a man behind me grabbed me by the hair. And before I had a chance to realize what was happening, the world around me went brown. Oh, God. Ah! I struggled with all my might to break free, but my arms were tied behind my back, and I didn't have the strength to overpower the man holding my head down. reflexively gasping for air. A stream of filthy water poured into my mouth. Pull her out. We get nothing if she dies. Put her back in. And keep at it until she decides she's ready to talk. No! How unsightly. And to think I ever considered marrying this woman. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking poor Giselle. Jesus Christ. Poor woman. Stop. We can stop whenever you want, Giselle. You just have to tell us the truth. Please. Stop! I was given no time to rest. My head shoved into the bucket and pulled out just long enough for me to steal a breath before going back in, over and over again. Not a person in that room objected to the abuse I was receiving. I had prayed for a good harvest with these people. They had taught me how to use a loom, something I'd never touched before. We had laughed together, lived together. They were normal people. Perfectly ordinary, kind, helpful, friendly people. Not at all cruel or inhumane. But now, they burned with a frenzy that overshadowed all my memories of them. And every gargle, gasp, and grunt they got from me fueled that fire. Dozens of eyes laced with madness stared down upon me, rejoicing at my suffering. My consciousness was slipping away from me. I thought I could hear laughing and chattering, but it all passed through my ears as mere noise, nothing I could make sense of. Right. Edith. Stay with me. Amade? Oh, thank goodness you're awake. Wait, what was I just doing? Alright, I was in the forest on the verge of death, and Amade found me, and we almost lost valuable manpower there. Huh? We were just discussing what to do about you, Giselle. We decided to make you village property. No, he didn't save me. If you agree to work for us, we'll put this whole nasty mess behind us. You may be worthless in the fields and terrible with a loom, but there's plenty you can help with. What are you going to make me do? You like to get your hands dirty. And considering I found you half dead in the forest, I doubt the rest of you is any cleaner. Amade. It seems we've come to an agreement. I'll keep watch over her starting today, to make sure she stays in line and doesn't steal anything else. Dirty stays in line? The way they're looking at me. They didn't have to spell it out. No. Anything but that. Please have mercy. If you're begging for mercy, then that means you know you've done something wrong. Let's see. There is one way, Giselle. What? Give back what you stole, naturally. But if you're going to insist that's not possible, then bring us something of equal value. And if you can't do that, then your life belongs to the village. The men were cackling. They knew I couldn't do it, and they were enjoying watching me squirm. Take your pick, Giselle. Something of equal value. If I can get that, then you'll set me free? In that moment, a little bit of darkness bubbled up in my heart. Something Maleficent whispered in my ear, sorry. If you're in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town. Ah, okay. I think I know where you can get something worth some money. The mansion in the forest has some fairly valuable furniture in it. Oh, God. When did I become... You can steal some of that to sell for good money. Such a despicable woman. You mean the cursed mansion? You expect us to go there? Are you out of your mind? Anyone who goes near the house is killed by the witch's curse. There is no witch living there. There is no curse. Giselle, what do you know about that mansion? I lived there for a while. Well, for a month. You what? The son of a noble lives there. He's human, and he's alone. A noble? What's a noble boy doing this far from the city? I presume he was banished there. I was sent to the mansion from the capital to act as his servant. There was plenty of value in the house. Shelves lined with books. There should be more than enough to pay the Lord 5 years' worth of taxes. Is what you're saying true? I would not lie. As bewilderment spread through Amade's house, I was unable to look at anything but the floor. I couldn't stop trembling. To protect myself, I had sold out Michael. You swear there's just a single man living in that house? Yes, it's only him. All right. If it turns out you're lying, you'll pay. Okay, everyone, you heard her. Tell the young men to get ready. We're going up to the mansion in the forest. And just to be safe, make sure everyone brings something they can use as a weapon. And you, Giselle, you're coming with us. You'll be leading the way. Listen to me. Don't think about trying to run. Right? Jesus Christ. Honestly could have renamed this game to Giselle Has a Bad Day, and you'd get the gist of it pretty quick. On the cusp of springtime, I found myself trekking through the dreary forest I had thought I would never set foot in again. How had I ended up here? How could I have never managed to avoid getting myself in these situations? And who would have guessed that the reason for returning to the mansion would be to loot it? I prayed for God to show even a little mercy and ensure Michael wasn't around, though I knew the chances of that happening were almost zero. After several hours of walking, we broke through the thick woods and the mansion appeared before us. Like its surroundings, the house was bleak and uninviting. Even the midday sun seemed disinterested in shining the light upon it. Despite, on the surface, there not being much of anything impressive about it, the entire mob stood speechless before its overwhelming presence. But the men had weapons, and they were fueled by avarice, which gave them the courage to approach this place they wouldn't normally otherwise. Door won't open. I think it's barred from the inside. It would seem someone really does live in this cursed place. I'm honestly surprised. Even more so than it's not a witch, but just a noble. The door's old. We could break it down. Yeah, let's bust it down. Hold on. Hold on. There's no need to be barbaric. Did you even consider knocking on the door like normal people? You sound like a band of thieves. Ha! That's something else coming from you. Who do you think proposed this plan, Giselle? You! Alright, men. You ready for lives of luxury? Break down that door. Stop it. It's the damn nobles who make our lives so hard. They deserve to be robbed. Break it. Break down the door. Oh, this is sounding, unfortunately, familiar of certain events. Violence and thievery and all that other shit is never justified, folks. Just saying. Please stop this. Break it down. Break it down. Break it down. Stop. Oh, God. All their repressed emotions detonated. They battered the door again and again and again. And in a few minutes' time, it was on the verge of a collapse. They shouted and cheered and hooted like madmen as my peaceful life came crumbling down around me. Growing lightheaded from the anxiety, I squeezed my eyes shut, unable to bear it any longer, when the deep groan of a door opening echoed through the forest. It would seem you're not aware of whose house you're trying to break into. What? What's going on? The world went silent, like time had come to a stop. No one could manage to say a word. Come here. Why are you whining so much? You're okay. Sorry, my puppy just needs attention. Oh, such a good girl. No one could manage to say a word, only stare at the man who had appeared from within the mansion. Surely you know what this place is called. Beneath the dazzling midday sun, he had bone-chillingly alabaster skin and long, nearly translucently pale hair. So surely you came prepared for whatever you would find. In his eyes were like two blazing infernos staring across the mob. A demon, someone muttered, probably unconsciously. He did indeed look like something out of this world. It's a demon. The rumors about this true. A cursed demon lives here. Demon? Him? Michael? No, he's not cursed. Indeed, I am cursed. The witch's curse is real. Beautiful background. Holy shit. Great image again, too. I have inherited it, and its eternity, as well as her purpose. A witch, a demon, a spirit impure. Call me whatever you wish, for the truth shall not change. I carry within me an eternal curse. Behold my flesh, pale as the moon. No red blood flows beneath this skin, as it does yours. Behold my hair, utterly devoid of color, offered up to the devil as part of our pact. Behold these crimson eyes, a symbol of the lifeblood spilt at my hands. I shall bring calamity upon you as the witch of legend. Never-ending famine, plague, catastrophe, suffering for generations. Until the moment of your deaths, you shall regret ever coming near this place. No, have mercy. We were just... It was that woman. She brought us here. Tempted us with the promises of wealth. Deceived us. Told us to pillage this house. We're innocent. Amadei, please have mercy on us. Give her to me, then, as an offering. Absolutely, she's yours. Torture her however you please. I have one more condition. You never come near this house again. If you do so much as consider it, you will die by my curse. I swear, we won't return. Run! Get out of here! Without as much as a glance back, the villagers scrambled into the forest, and Amadei, the man who had rescued me that night, went right along with them. Is there kindness in this world? I wasn't sure what to think anymore. Saving this. I don't know. I'm not sure what that one symbol was. I'm guessing maybe it was loading or something. Don't think I'm helping you. His voice rained down on me, but I couldn't lift my head. There was such a gaping void in my chest. I had no idea what questions I should be asking anymore. What I should be angry about. What I should be sad about. Not even the first clue. Look at me. Look at me, Giselle. Tell me, is it true you returned the mansion to plunder it? That you brought those men here to rob me of my valuables? Answer me, Giselle. Yes, it's true. I persuaded them to steal from you. Are you really so desperate for money that you resort to looting? Just how low will you go? Not only did you seduce my father, not only did you go digging around for information about me, you brought a mob to this house. And they were armed too. Were you trying to get me killed? Answer me, Giselle. Not even going to defend yourself? Your scheme failed, so you're retreating into silence? Oh, for God's sake, you sicken me. I'm done with you. I'm done. Leave this place and never show your face here again. As he shouted at me, I stared into his fiery red eyes. A somewhat inappropriate thought crossed my mind. Huh. So he can't get emotional like anyone else. And my heart, stripped raw and cast out to sea, finally sunk deep enough to be crushed by the pressure. Me. What? If you want me gone, then kill me! You can do that, can't you? You can use your curse to kill me, can't you? Do it, right here! Use your power, take my life. And if you don't want to do that, stab me with your knife. Kill me. Kill me! What? I'm done. I can't take it. I'm through with this whole world. No one will believe anything I say. No one cares about one bit how I feel. They just walk all over me, laughing. Why? Tell me why. Why is this happening to me?
I never stole anything. What are you talking about? I tried my best to look happy. I thought everything would work out if I could keep smiling. I believed that would make things better. But nothing ever got better. What did I ever do? Tell me, what did I do? But you... All I ever did was believe. Tried my best to survive, to always wear a smile. But if everything's going to be my fault, and I have to deal with that for the rest of my life, then I'm done. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live in this world anymore. Calm down, please. I don't follow what you're saying. My understanding is that you desired money, so you brought that mob. And before that, you used my father. You wouldn't believe me even if I told you the real story. You'll take your family's word over mine. You don't have any idea what I went through there. How hard it was just to keep myself together. What? I never wanted riches. All I wanted was a decent enough wage to allow my family to live comfortably. That's all I wanted. But that man, he used my family against me. He made me... forced me to... Oh... He raped me. What? Again and again, no matter how much I resisted, he wouldn't stop again and again. He threatened me, beat me, cut me with a knife. Over and over and over again. What? My father? Raped you? No one would believe me. I did nothing wrong. You don't believe me either, do you? So I'm done. I don't want this body anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. I can't take it anymore. Help me, please. Set me free. Kill me already. Use your curse and kill me. Kill me. Give me a moment. I need time to process this. You can do it, can't you? Kill me already. Kill me now. Kill me, damn it. Give me time so we can talk this through. I want to hear everything from the beginning. Oh my God. Inside. Let's go inside and talk. The light hurts my eyes. Holy shit, man. Oh my God. Oh. That was a door I might have best let stay shut. Not knowing the truth would have been so much easier. I wouldn't have been able to shudder in disgust, hearing about the crimes of my own family. But if I hadn't opened that door, I would have lost everything. That day, after far too long, I finally let myself see the person in Giselle. Holy shit. Okay. We've been going at this for a very long time now. And holy fuck. Yeah, we're gonna call it there for the day. Holy shit, man. Oh, I had no clue what this fifth door was gonna have behind it, and holy shit, I never would have guessed that it was that extreme. Holy shit. I'm just typically I find myself, just going over everything that we had, read and my thoughts on it, but it's like this I don't even know where to begin. But yeah, seriously, poor Giselle. Like, holy shit. I'm having a hard time thinking of many characters who have been kicked and put down as much as her. Holy shit. And the sad part is, given the whole premise of this game and everything, it doesn't look like she's gonna reach much of a happy ending. So, good God, like, I don't even know how much worse it can get for her. And we don't even know the backstory of Michael yet. Like, Jesus Christ. These are both some very, very tortured souls, quite literally. But maybe once they, okay, this is just me being hopeful. And in this game, it seems like being hopeful is quite the, not the thing to go for. But maybe with both of them having such a harsh and tragic background, because I'll guarantee you Michael's not going to have a flowery one either. Maybe they can find some companionship in one another and, build some kind of positive relationship that helps them both navigate reality a little bit. And I'm not even talking just in the supernatural mansion sense from the game's perspective. I'm talking, just both of them as characters. Hopefully there's just something that they can repair in each other that way by sharing, having both the tragic background. I don't know. Oh boy, man, it was hard to put this down a few times because it's like you just want to keep reading more and more and more. I was certainly not expecting Giselle's backstory to be that heavy, and yeah, I knew that, I mean, we were dealing with certain, tragic situations before, but they handle the subject of, sexual abuse and assault, rape. They do handle it quite realistically. Like, this is not they're not handling it like a gimmick, and so it's really hard to and it's really hard to read, and it's it's tragic to think about. Oh boy, yeah, it's a lot to take in. But holy shit, I'm hoping that at least, I don't think that anything really positive comes out at the end of this. However, I'm hoping now that they're gonna open up to each other a little bit, and something just fleeting positive happens between the two of them. Because yeah, they both need, both Michael and Giselle need a break from all of this. Oh man, what a good story and what a good game so far. It's all sad and tragic, but holy shit. I can see, I try to stay away from a lot of reviews just so that, I didn't get spoiled by anything. But I now see why those numbers on the reviews were so high. Very well. And I sincerely doubt, for as good as this all has been, I doubt that it's going to end with a thud. So, But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna call it here. Maybe I'll pick it up again tomorrow afternoon. I can't. I'm gonna be super busy tomorrow, in certain parts. So maybe I'll pick it up in the late morning or early afternoon and play for maybe an hour, and then get off again. And then we'll figure out what I'm gonna play again. But in the meantime, yeah, I'll throw the link. I'll throw the announcement out on minds.com again, and I'll throw the link there when I decide what time it's going to be. But damn, yeah, that chat this today's segment was a lot. That was a lot. Wow. Michael, get Giselle a goddamn hug, please. Somebody needs to give that woman a hug. Holy shit. But anyways, guys, I appreciate the folks that came by to watch. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you're all doing well. Hope that you're staying safe and warm, and I hope that you're staying happy. And if you're having a hard time finding that, I hope that you can find it somehow, or that somebody could bring it to you. I'm hoping the best for you, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out, and hoping that you're having fun. So, talk to you later. Stay safe. Stay happy. Bye.